Hello everyone, happy Tuesday. It's time for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. It's Lena Gersa. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada, where it is currently snowing, thank you very much. And today I am so excited to share with you some fun projects made with the Handsomely Suited bundle from the Stampin' Up! January to June mini catalog. Now, not only do I have 3 projects to share with you that I'm going to demonstrate right now, but I also have some information about a new online class featuring this bundle as well. So stay tuned. Now, as people are joining, I just want to send out a reminder that I have started mailing out annual catalogs. The new annual catalog goes live on May the 4th. And I sent a whole ton of them out last week, so you should be receiving them. If you completed my catalog request form last week, you should be receiving your catalog hopefully by the end of this week. If you haven't yet completed my catalog request form and you would like one, you need to get online and fill in that request, okay? You'll be able to find that on my page, on my Facebook page, or on my blog, okay? So make sure you get that filled out. If you can't find the request, just send me an email and I will make sure I get one in the mail to you, okay? All right, let me see who is joining us and we will get ready to go. Let's see who's here. Oh, we got lots of people watching today. We've got Colleen and Gail and Krista and Deb and Bonnie and Louise. Hello, hello, ladies. I hope you all are well. Hi, Gail from Oakville. So we are all about the Handsomely Suited bundle. So this is the stamp set. I'm going to show you it in detail in a minute. And I have some really fun projects to share with you and a couple of sneak peeks of some new ink colors. Now, I need to tell you, next week, I'm all about the new ink colors. So each day next week, I'm going to be featuring a different ink color on my social media feed. And next week's video will be all about the new ink colors. So you'll want to make sure you tune in. They are gorgeous. I haven't yet picked a favorite because I love them all. But next week, that's what I'm all about. Okay. And then we're into the new catalog. 2 weeks from today is the launch of the new annual catalog, which is pretty darned exciting. And I am planning another live catalog launch party on Tuesday, May the 4th. I won't be live at 5. I'll be live at 7, but I'll give you more details about that closer to the date so you don't forget. All right. Looks like we got lots of people joining us. So we are going to flip the camera and get to it. Okay, so look away for a sec while I flip it. I'll let you know I'm ready to go. All right, we should be good. All right. Oh, Kelly, you had a rough reaction to the vaccine, did you? The only thing that happened when I got my vaccine was a sore shoulder for a day. But beyond that, I was good to go. So, all right. So as I said, we are all about the Handsomely Suited bundle. Awesome stamp set with some fun sentiments, perfect for the men in our lives. And then of course the dies, it's called Suit and Tie, the dies, and they're designed to make suit cards. But I've got some alternatives to show you because honestly, none of the men in my life are suit and tie kind of guys. So I'm going to show you some fun alternatives to use this set with, and we're going to get to it. All right. Let me set these aside. So if you're hearing squeaking in the background, I should mention I have a really squeaky chair. Okay, it's not a bodily function, it's just my squeaky chair. Okay, just telling you that right now. All right, so I have to say that when I'm online with my students because otherwise they start giggling thinking I'm having issues. Anyway, so our first card is this one. I posted this yesterday and I got a lot of positive feedback from this. It is a really, really easy card and perfect for our situation right now. Here in Southern Ontario, we are in a serious crisis, the worst of the pandemic. Our healthcare system is teetering on the brink of being completely overwhelmed, and we have a lot of healthcare workers who are really struggling. So that has been on my mind a lot over the past few weeks. And so I right away wanted to create a card that I could send as a thank you. So I'm going to show you how to do this. It is so crazy easy. You will be amazed at how easy it is. So I'm going to dump out all my little bits here. Okay, So to start, I have a piece of the new Soft Succulent in color cardstock. This color, as soon as I saw it, I thought perfect for medical scrubs, right? Like it's the perfect color. So what I did is I took this die here, it's just a V, and cut part of it. I didn't cut the whole thing, okay? I just cut a little bit to create the neckline, okay? Then we are going to, I'm going to do a brown skinned card here because we have a lot of medical healthcare professionals who are not white skinned. So I wanted to acknowledge that we have people from all over and all cultures working to try to protect us right now. So that is going to get glued right behind our opening here. Okay, so I'm just going to add, actually I'll do it on this piece. Add a little bit here. And we're just going to line up, this is just a piece of scrap really that was big enough. This is Cinnamon Cider that was big enough to cover the V here. So we're just going to adhere that so that the edges are flush at the top. Okay. Then, before we do anything else, we're going to add a little bit of dimension to our piece. And I realized I forgot to grab my ink pad. Here we go. So I'm going to take my sponge dauber and just do a little bit of sponging around the edges of my panel here. So I'm just going to kind of start at the top and come all the way around. And again, this is not a necessary step. It's just adds some nice dimension and texture on what could otherwise be a pretty flat card. So we're just going to do a little flicky all the way around. Yes, Deb, it is the perfect green. That's what I was saying. It's absolutely like the perfect scrubs color. So as soon as I saw the color, I thought, okay, this is perfect for this purpose. So, all right, let's just finish inking this up. Okay, so I've gone a little bit heavy-handed here, but you get the idea. Anytime you have see how it's sort of uneven here, you can just come in and sponge a little bit in from the edges, and that'll even things out a little bit. There we go. All right. I'm also going to sponge these two pieces. Now these were cut. I've got my dies right here so I can show you which pieces I use. This is cut with the long sort of stitched rectangle. I just basically cut it and then cut it in half. So I'm going to take again and sponge the edges on this one. So just real quick. And we'll do the other one. Hi, Sandy Martin. Thanks for joining us. So we'll just just a touch of sponging here. And then while I'm at it, I'm going to sponge the pocket as well. So again, just quickly. I love the stitching detail on these dies. It just adds so much. Okay. So that is it for the sponging. Hi, Martine. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. So then we are going to glue our two rectangles on at a diagonal to kind of act as sort of the stitching on the neckline. Okay. So all I'm going to do is just take and put a little bit of adhesive along the neckline. And I'm going to glue this one on. Don't worry about this bit that's poking off the edge. We will take care of that in a minute. And then our other one's going to go on and overlap at the bottom. This one I'll put the glue on this piece. Hi, Joyce. Oh, snowing in Kansas. It's snowing here too. I looked out my office window and lo and behold, it was coming down pretty good. Good times. Gotta love snow on April, what is it? 19th, 20th? Whatever it is. All right, so we are going to just take our snips and just snip off that excess that we don't need. Okay. And then we have our little pocket that's going to go on just sort of in the sort of lower right corner. So we'll add a little bit of adhesive there. Okay. And then I'm going to show you how I made my stethoscope. So this is die cut. I cut two of the layering ovals. So they're not two of the neighboring sizes. It's one and then skip one and then one size down. Okay. I think this is the second largest and the 4th largest oval. Okay, now these layering oval dies are retiring, and I think they're sold out. So if you haven't got them yet, I'm sorry you missed out, because these are awesome dies. I use them all the time. You could probably get away with doing circles as well. The ovals just give you a little bit more length. Okay, so all I did is I cut 2, and I just use scrap. Sorry, I've got something in my throat. I gotta take a drink. Okay. Oh, I'm glad it's nice there, Deb. It's not so nice here today. All right, so I basically just cut this from some scrap. It was a narrow piece, so this was just left over. If you cut it from a larger piece, you would get the full oval, but we don't need the full oval, so it didn't really matter. So I'm just going to trim a little bit off, and what's going to happen is this one's going to come down like this, and we'll trim some off this side, and this one's going to come down like this. Okay, so that's going to form the cord from our stethoscope. To form the earpieces, this is 2 hearts from the Be Mine Stitched dies. Again, retiring. So this has sort of that elongated heart. There's 2, a larger one and a smaller one. So I just threw them on some silver foil, which is also retiring. Lots of retiring product these days. And I cut the frame. Okay, so then all I'm going to do is take my snips and just sort of snip out the center of the heart. And what I want to do is get a nice little sort of rounded edge here. So again, I'm going to come around, and I'll just tidy this up, and there we go. There's our earpieces. Okay, so they are going to adhere to one end of our frame. So we're just going to take, I don't know what is up with my throat today. It's very croaky. I apologize. I'm just gonna take a glue dot and put it at the end of the heart, okay, and then I'm gonna add it to my oval. I'm gonna trim off this extra little bit because I don't need that. And then I have a little bitty circle. Any small circle will do. This is, I think, the eye from the Retired Owl punch. Any small circle punch or die cut that you have will work. And I'm just going to put that on to cover sort of the end of the heart there, just so that it looks like it's attached. Okay, so that's going to get adhered. So we're going to put a little bit of glue on here and a little bit on the cord. And we're going to adhere that just about there. Okay. Oh, Darlene. Thank you. Okay. And then this one, again, same thing. We are going to first glue this down, and then we're going to do a little doctoring to create, get it, doctor, pun. Never mind. I don't get out much these days, so yeah. All right, so we are going to stamp on some white cardstock as soon as, I guess this is the piece that I gave myself. That's all right. A really large piece of white cardstock. I can't believe I gave myself a full-size piece, but that's all right. So we are going to stamp the thank you from the Handsomely Suited stamp set. I'm just going to stamp it in some black ink. So we'll just stamp it on there. And then I have this little bitty heart from the, what's it? The Lots of Hearts one, the one that's in the mini. What's it called? The one with all the hearts. I'm looking at my stamp shelf trying to remember the name. I can't think of it right now. Anyway, it's a little bitty heart. We're going to stamp it in real red. So I'm going to ink that up, and I'm going to stamp it right over top of the thank you, just like that. And then I'm going to take and punch this out using my 1-inch circle. Now this is long retired. There is a 1-inch die in the layering circles dies. So if you don't have this punch, that will work. Okay. And then I'm using a 1 1/4 inch punched silver foil circle. Again, retired punch, but you can get a die that is close in size. So I'm just going to take and put a little bit of adhesive on the back of my thank you. Oh yes, Krista, a hot toddy would be just fine right now. Absolutely. I think it's because I've been doing a lot of talking with the online teaching stuff. It's a lot of talking. All right, so then we're going to add this to the front of our card with a dimensional, or 2. 2 is always better than 1, right? So we're going to add 2. And then this is going to pop on to our other side of our stethoscope, and then we're just going to take and off the excess cord. channel here. Uh-oh. Are we out? Not yet. We're close. I don't know. When we make it through this video, we shall see. The suspense is killing me. So we are just going to layer that onto the front of our card, just like that, and we're done. Okay, so easy peasy. On the inside, I just stamped another sentiment from the Handsomely Suited stamp set, "You're the best," and added another stamped off heart. Okay, so I'm planning to make a bunch of these. I know have a lot of friends that work in the healthcare sector right now, and who are really, really struggling. So I want them to know that they are not forgotten. I feel like we were really good at recognizing our healthcare workers last spring during the first wave. And I think this time some of them are feeling a little bit forgotten. So I want to make sure that they know that we still appreciate them and recognize all the work that they're doing. So there we go. Number 1 is done. All right. Uh-oh. No sound? Okay, tell me the sound is working. Maybe Facebook got tired of listening to my croaky voice too. All right, number 2 is this fun little Minnie Mouse card. As soon as I saw the polka dot bow tie in this stamp set, I immediately thought Minnie Mouse. I have some girls in my life who love Minnie Mouse. So I thought this would be a fun little birthday card. And I know exactly who this one is going to go to. So I'm just going to pull out my little bits. I've done a lot of the stamping and coloring ahead of time because there's a lot of stamping and coloring. So you don't have to sit and watch. So what I have here is a piece of basic white cardstock. Okay, it's 4 by 5 1/4. And I have stamped the bow tie, a little polka dot bow tie, several times in Memento black ink, and then colored using my new polished pink Stampin' Blend. So this is another new in color. All right. Now I'm just going to quick show you how great this color looks when you're coloring with it. So I'm going to just show you one bow tie. So I'm going to stamp it and I'll show you quick how I colored it. So this particular color I have found when you first are putting it on, it looks like it does not match the cardstock color at all. It takes a little bit longer to set and to dry. Once it does, it totally matches. Like this totally matches. But when you're first coloring, I was like, okay, is there something wrong with these blends? Nope, just takes a little bit longer to set up. So I'm laying down some of the light first. I'll do the whole thing. Why not? We'll live on the edge today. I'm laying down just a layer of the light polished pink. So I'll get that all filled in. Then I'm going to come in with the dark, and this is going to look really dark, okay? I'm going to add the dark along sort of the folds and right in close to the knot. Okay, and then same thing on the other side. And then I'm going to come back with my light and blend this out. And again, you're going to see that this really does not look like it's matching the cardstock at all, okay? Once it dries, it's perfect. But unlike some of our other blends that when you put them down right away, it looks like they're matching, this one takes a little bit longer to set up and dry. Okay, so when you get these, don't worry and think that there's something wrong with them. Okay, they will set up. All right, so there we go. Just blend that out a little bit more. Okay, and there's our cute little pink bow tie, or bow for, in this case, for Minnie Mouse. Okay. All right, so we are going to take our pre-stamped and colored piece and we are going to add some Love You Always DSP. Now this is another one that is retiring at the end of June, so there's still a couple more months for this one. It's got the gorgeous florals on one side and all of the black and white patterns on the other. Now we're going to add a little bit of ink. One of the things I love most about black and white DSP is that it's super easy to add color. Okay, so I've got my polished pink ink pad and my blender brush, and I am just going to come in and start laying down some color. So I want to get a bit of an ombre effect here. So I'm going to start at the bottom and layer on more ink at the bottom. Hi Brenda, how are you? Thanks for tuning in. Hope things are good in London. All right, Oh, Darlene, there are so many possibilities with this bundle. Like initially I thought, okay, I don't really know any men who are big suit and tie wearers, so I wasn't really too sold on it. But once I started playing with it and realized how many other possibilities there are, it's a must-have if you ask me. This is one I will keep for a long time. I don't see myself letting this one go anytime soon. So we're gonna just keep sponging this. I'm trying to read comments while I'm sponging. It's not easy. Oh dear, I should really just focus on what I'm doing, read the comments later. All right, so we're just gonna add a little bit more here so we get a nice pink shade all the way across. But doesn't that look amazing? The black and white DSP just looks fantastic when you add just a subtle bit of color to make it an ombre effect. All right. Okay. So we now are going to go ahead and layer this. Now, before we do that, I have some cute little scallop borders here. Now this, I should mention, these little scallops are from the Be Mine Stitch dies, okay? Same dies that I used to cut the earpieces for the stethoscope on the last card. So these are very small scallops. There is a new set of dies coming out in the new catalog that has a larger stitch scallop border, okay? It's not quite as small as this one. I just thought this was really cute and dainty for Minnie Mouse, which is why I used it. And I wanted to highlight the fact that this particular set of dies is going away. Make sure that you don't miss out. So, I'm just going to take and layer my DSP on my border pieces here. And always, whenever I cut border pieces, I always cut them larger than I need them. I just find it easier to get them lined up and straight without having to worry about trying to line up these edges too. That's just kind of the way I roll, and I find that the easiest way to manage them. So in case you're thinking I just can't measure, it was on purpose. All right, so we're gonna trim off the excess here. And one more. There we go. Now we're ready to go ahead and layer that on our stamped panel, okay? This is gonna go on about 3/4 of an inch up from the bottom. So we'll just add a little bit of adhesive. Uh-oh, are we out? Not quite, we're good. And I'm going to just use my grid paper again to help me get this straight. So I'm going to line up my panel. I'm measuring 1, 2, 3 squares up, and I'm lining up bottom of the DSP, not the scalloped edge. Oh, no, maybe I will. Maybe the scalloped edge. Sure, why not? And I'm just going to line that up. And that's a really easy way to make sure you get your pieces straight. Okay, now that is going to get, oh, I should have mentioned, this is 2 by 4. Okay, this piece of DSP. I have a piece of black cardstock that I'm going to layer behind, and it is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Okay, I will put all of the measurements up in the video description when I'm done, so you can check it out whether you're watching on Facebook or watching the replay later on YouTube. You will find all of the measurements in the video description. Easy peasy, so you can remake any of these cards if you'd like. Okay, then we're going to layer that onto our card base. Now, how fabulous is this pink? This is polished pink, yet another new in color. It is, the card base is 4 1/4 by 11 inches, scored in the middle at 5 1/2. So again, we will fold along our score line. Hi, Jill, how are you? Hope you're well. So we're gonna add a little bit of adhesive and pop this on. And again, you know me and my narrow little borders, so I really like, I just think it's a really cute little touch. Lots of layers on this card, but hey, it's Minnie Mouse. Why not? All right, so I'm gonna show you how I made my mini. So this is a 1 1/2, yes, 1 1/2 inch circle punch. Okay, that one is still in the catalog, but it is retiring. If you don't have a 1 1/2 inch circle, you need to get it. This is my most used size, okay? And then I have 2 1-inch circles. All right, so they are going to get glued to make our mouse ears. So I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive to the back side of my 1 1/2 inch circle. And we'll add our ears. Now you want to space them out, okay? Because keep in mind, we're going to add, did I put enough adhesive? No, I didn't. We're going to add the bow, and we want to make sure we can still see the ears behind the bow, right? So we're going to space them out. So I've got about, I don't know, 1/2 inch between the ears so that the bow will show. And then we're going to tuck our bow in behind, just like that. Isn't that cute? Oh, so cute. I love it. All right, and that might actually stay because I have enough adhesive there that it's going to stay put just like that. All right, now that is going to get popped up on the front of our card. So we're going to add a couple of dimensionals. One there and one there. And we'll get rid of our backings. Jill, you crack me up. And we're going to do it at a little bit of a sassy angle here. And we're going to put her up a little bit higher. We're not going to center her because we're going to add our label. Okay, so there's Minnie. Okay, and then we are going to stamp and punch our label. Now, our label, this is another punch that is retiring, another one that I really like. It's called Story Label. If you don't have this one, you may want to pick it up. It's a great size, and it layers behind punch circles really, really beautifully. Okay, now we're going to use the Happy Birthday to You stamp from the Handsomely Suited set. And I decided I wanted to kind of do dual color stamping. So I'm going to ink a Happy and To You using my basic black Stampin' Right marker. Okay, I'm using the brush tip. Just makes it much faster and easier. Trying to ink this with the writing tip would actually, it would not work. You would be here for a million years. And then I have my polished pink, and I'm going to ink the birthday with the polished pink. And there's a fair bit of real estate on these letters, so you just want to make sure that you're inking them really well so you get a nice clean image. And then always, whenever you're doing this technique, you want to just blow on your stamp to re-moisten the ink before you stamp it. And then you get a nice clean image. So I'll put the lid on that marker before it dries out, my brand new marker. Excuse me. And then we're going to go ahead and punch that out with our Story Label punch. Okay, really easy. And then that is going to get layered onto the front of our card. We're going to overlap Minnie a little bit. So we're going to put a glue dot here and then a couple of dimensionals. So we'll go 1, 2, and actually I'll put a little bit of tape there rather than a glue dot. And we're going to just layer that right about there. Okay, and then the last touch to pull out the polka dots is to add some of our matte black dots. So I'm just going to add one large dot there. We'll add a couple of little guys. And there we go. Fun, happy Minnie Mouse card. You like? I had fun making that one. All right, moving on. Again, we're going to just clean up some mess here. And we're going to move on to number 3. Now, number 3, this is a fun fold, and it's actually a gift card holder. So this is kind of a 2-for-1 deal. So as I mentioned earlier, none of the men in my life are suit and tie kind of guys. So I needed to get creative to come up with cards that would work for my husband and my dad and the other men in my life. So this one, it's almost the exact same as a golf shirt that my husband owns. It's almost the same pattern. So I'm going to show you how we did this, but I'm just going to quick show you how it stands up. So it's going to stand up like this. It's an easel card. Okay. And then there's a secret little compartment here at the top that holds a gift card. Now this is Tim Hortons. My husband hates Tim Hortons. I know. What's wrong with him? He's Canadian, right? But no. So this is just an old Tim Hortons gift card that I had kicking around. There's no money left on it. Trust me, I've used it all. But it shows how we can use this as a gift card holder. So kind of fun. There is a V cut at the top to make it easy to pull that out. So I'm going to show you how we do that. Really easy. Okay, this is not a hard one at all. There are some little teeny bits because we have our little bitty buttons that we die cut. So I want to make sure I don't lose those. Let's just pull this one out. Come on. There we go. All right. So we're going to start by putting together the shirt on the front, and then I'll show you how the mechanism works. So to start, we have our card front. So this is cut, again, it's from the well-suited DSP. So it's the DSP that coordinates within the suite that the bundle is from. It is cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So it is card front sized. All right. Then I have a color that I have cut from Smoky Slate cardstock. Okay, so that's just going to get glued on there. And then I have a little smidge of this big long die cut that I'm going to use as the placket for my buttons. Okay, so it's going to tuck in under here. I'm just going to kind of show you. and then we're going to add our buttons afterwards. Okay, so first step is to glue down our collar. So I'm just going to add a little bit of liquid glue here. And you want to get this lined up in the center. So what I do is I take my, I'm not sure if you can see to the bottom of my grid paper here. I think you can. So I'm going to center this on my grid paper here. Okay. And then I'm just going to line this up so that sort of where my collar meets there at the bottom is lined up with my 8-inch mark. And that just makes it easy for me to center it. Okay. Then I'm going to take my little placket, and because we didn't put any glue in that middle section, it's not hard to slide this up and underneath, just like that. Okay, so we're going to add a little bit of glue here. These cards are so much fun. Honestly, it's like paper dolls, right? Doing dress up with all these fun little pieces. So we're going to just line that up again in the center, and on my particular piece I can use my the pattern, the polka dots on my DSP to line that up. Okay, and then we have little bitty buttons. Now this die, I should mention, I hate dies that are super small like that, but Stampin' Up is smart, and they know that we don't have the patience for those little things. So you actually, the die cuts 6 buttons at once. Okay, so you run it through and you've got 6 buttons to play with, which is awesome. And then these are sized perfectly to go on with a glue dot. So all I did is I kind of took and centered each button on a glue dot. So 1 and 2 and 3. And then I just took my take your pick and I popped each button off. I'm going to do the middle one first just to make sure I get them centered. So 1 and 1 above and 1 below. So much easier than fussing with liquid glue when you're putting those buttons on. Okay, so that's just a little sanity saver for you. All right, so now I have a pocket that I've also cut from the DSP. And then many golf shirts have sort of a different colored trim on the pocket, so I just cut a little. This little die is this guy here. Okay, so I cut just one of those with the out of Smoky Slate cardstock. Okay, and again, I'm just going to add a titch of liquid glue, and we're going to adhere that to the top of the pocket, just like that. All right, and then that is going to get glued onto our shirt. So we'll add a little bit of adhesive, and it's going to go on, I don't know, you can put it wherever, really. Right about there is good. Okay, now remember how I said we have a V here for our gift card to slide out. So we need to cut that little bit of DSP out. So all I did, rather than using the die, it's such a little smidge, I just used the pocket or the collar as a guide and just cut along the edge of it with my snips. Okay, way easier than trying to cut that little piece with the die. Okay, that's not very tidy. Let's just clean that up. It's gonna bug me. There we go, that's better. Come here. All right, so now that we need to create our pocket for the gift card to slide into. Okay, so here I have a piece of basic white cardstock. It is 3 by 4 inches, and it is sized so that it's going to give me room to slide for my gift card and still have room for adhesive on the edges. That was kind of the goal there. So I'm just going to take, you can do this with liquid glue. I'm going to use my seal just because it gives me a little bit of control. So I'm just going to run the seal around 3 edges. Okay, so the top edge doesn't get glued because that's where my gift card's going to slide in. And then again, I'm going to just eyeball this. I could measure if I wanted to, but I'm going to center this behind my V. So I'm just kind of looking at my piece here and sort of where my opening is. Okay, and I'm just going to center that so that it is flush with the top edge and glue that. Okay, and then I should be able to slide my gift card in just like that. Okay, so that's my pocket. Easy peasy, right? Now, what we didn't do before I stuck this gift card in is cut out our notch again. So we're gonna take our scissors just like we did before, and we're gonna trim out a little V there. All right, you wanna do each layer as you adhere it. It gets really hard to cut if you're cutting through 2 or 3 layers. Okay, so that's our shirt. Then I have a piece of, now I should mention, you could glue this onto your card base just like this, okay? But I wanted the back side to be clean. I didn't want to see this. So I have another panel of Smoky Slate, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and that is going to get layered behind my shirt so that it's nice and clean on the back. All right, so we're going to go ahead and glue that down. A little bit across the top. And again, we're just going to glue this flush. It's the same size, hopefully, if I measured correctly. There we go. Okay, and again, we have to cut out that little notch. So there's 3 times you have to cut this V. Once for the DSP, once for the pocket for the gift card, and then once for the backing panel. Now, if you decide not to do the backing panel, you don't need to do that 3rd cut. Okay, but then it's easy to slide our gift card in, and it's also easy to slide it out because we have that little notch. Okay, all right, the rest is easy peasy. Now let me show you the card base. So our card base, same dimensions as the other 2 cards, 4 1/4 by 11, scored in the middle at 5 1/2, but then it is scored again. Okay, so what I like to do is I actually measure from the top. So I score at 2 3/4 and then 5 1/2. And that gives me my piece for my easel. All right, so I'm going to start by folding the card in half, just like a regular card. Okay, and then I have that 2 3/4 inch. Did I say 2 1/2? It's 2 3/4 inch, the score line. Again, I'll put the measurements up in the description afterwards. 2 3/4 inch score line. I'm going to open my card and fold that inwards. Okay, and your edge is going to come right up to that fold in the middle. Okay, and your easel card is going to stand just like that. All right, now this is the important step when you're doing an easel card. When you go to glue your card front on, do not put glue all over this piece and stick it down, because then it will no longer be an easel card. It will just be a normal card. So we want this part, the top part, to remain unstuck so that it can stand up. All right, so we're going to just put adhesive on that bottom panel. So I like to just put my adhesive directly on that panel so I know exactly where I'm putting it and that it's going in the right spot. Okay, and then I'm going to layer my card front right on top. And again, it's the same size as the base. So it should fit on there nice and tidy. And there we go. We have our easel. Okay, easy peasy, right? So a couple things we need to do now. On the inside of our card, the other important thing to remember when you're making an easel is you need something on the inside to catch the easel so it stays standing up. All right, so you need something that's popped up so that it will stay standing. So we are going to stamp a sentiment. So actually I'm going to stamp 2 sentiments because I forgot to do the one on the front. So on the front, we are going to stamp our "To One of the World's Greatest Dads." So I've got some basic gray ink, and I may as well just use this same scrap piece as I've been using rather than use another piece. So let's just ink that up. We're going to stamp it right about there. And then I need my 1 1/2 inch circle punch, which I did not get out. Thankfully, they're right here. Where are you, 1 1/2? There you are. And we're going to pop that out. Oh, did I do 1 1/2? Maybe it's 1 1/4. Oh, no, I think it's 1 1/2. Yeah, that looks good. If it's not, we're changing the design. What does it matter? All right, so we're going to get that out of the way for a minute. This is going to get layered on a tailored tag. So this is my punch that I use all the time to make my border ends or my banner ends. But it actually makes a really great layer behind, or even to stamp and punch a sentiment. Okay, so we're going to pop that up with a couple of dimensionals. So 1 and 2. Why do I tape upside down? That's a good question. I get asked that all the time, Darlene. It's just, I don't know. It's just how I roll. I have no good reason. It's just the way I do it. I know I'm weird. I just don't know. I get asked that a lot, and it is what it is. It's just what I do. Let's just say it's my trademark. There, that sounds cooler than I'm just weird. It's my trademark. I'm an upside down gluer. How's that? Okay. So there is the sentiment on the front. Now I have for the inside a stitched nested label. Now this is another set of dies that is retiring, and it is one that I will be mourning for quite some time to come. I love this particular set of dies. I use them a ton. And we're going to stamp our Have a happy Father's Day. Now, I wanted to make this for my son to give to my husband. I didn't think that my son would say have a happy Father's Day handsome to my husband. So I wanted to omit handsome. So I wanted to show you another way. So I showed you how to ink with markers if you want to use dual color. This way is how you can omit part of a stamp. So I'm just going to take a Post-it note and stick it down over the part of the stamp that I don't want, which is handsome. Okay. Hi, Judy. And I am going to go ahead and ink my stamp with the Post-it note stuck on. Okay. So I get ink where I want it. And when I take the Post-it note off, I do not have ink where I don't want it. All right. So now this is the tricky part, stamping this centered on my label. We are going to see how this goes. I'm scared. Oh, well, here we go. Let's hope it's straight. Oh, it's not bad. It's a little crooked, but whatever. I can live with it. All right, so there is our label. Now I'm going to glue this onto, this is another one of this die cut. Okay, this is the full length. That's how long it is. It's a long, long rectangle. And again, I've cut it from the DSP. I'm going to glue my label onto that little strip. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here. I just wanted to kind of add a little something to the inside of the card. So I'm centering that on my strip. Oh, I 100% agree with you, Louise. 100% agree. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue this onto my panel. So this piece of basic white is cut to go on the inside. It's 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to go ahead and layer this onto my panel. I'm going to pop it up. So this is the important step. When you're making an easel card, it has to be popped, okay, in order for the easel to catch and stay standing. All right, if you don't pop it up or you don't have something inside, you won't be able to keep your easel standing up. Okay, so I've got some dimensionals and a couple of minis on my little strip here. It is longer than I need, but again, it's easy to cut after the fact to trim it, right? So we're gonna go ahead and glue this on. Now I'm gonna put this, I don't know, you don't want to do it too high because then your easel will stand up really, really straight. So I'm going to put it down, I don't know, 1.5 inches maybe from the top, and hopefully centered and hopefully straight. Not really, I'm just eyeballing it this time. And then I'm going to come in with my snips and trim off the excess. So we'll get rid of that one, and we'll get rid of that one. Okay, and then we're going to glue that inside our card. So we're going to add a little bit of adhesive. This one I'll probably still glue upside down. Sorry, you guys. Oh, see? Oh, I made it. I almost made it. Need just a titch of liquid glue. My seal just ran out. Almost made it. All right. So we're going to go ahead and add that inside our card. Just like that. Okay. And then we have an easel that will stand up. You like that one? I hope so. I don't know why my voice is like super squeaky. Maybe I'm channeling my inner Minnie Mouse. I don't know. All right, you guys, let me pull in all of our projects from today. So there is our easel card, there is Miss Minnie, and there is our scrubs card. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed those projects. I hope you give some thought to the well-suited bundle or handsomely suited bundle. Now, before I let you go, I need to show you the projects that are included in our latest Cross Border Crafters online class. So this launched, actually, I sent it in my newsletter on last week, but it officially launches today. And it includes 6 projects I'm going to show you right now. And it is free, as always, with a $60 order. Okay, so let me show you the projects. We start out fairly simple, cute, dapper looking birthday card. Let me get these out of the way. So there's one. This one, again, would be perfect for my husband because he has a shirt just like this. There's 2. And then I was thinking some of us may need some graduation cards. I need one. I actually made this in the colors of my son's school. My son's graduating grade 8. I cannot believe it. So this is a graduation card. So that's number 3. And then we're heading into wedding season. So I thought it would be fun to do a bride and groom money holder. So this has a large pocket that you can put money in for a bride and groom, or you can put gift cards in if you wanted to. Okay, so we have the bride and the groom. And then, of course, I loved this DSP pattern. It reminded me of baseball. I don't know why, it just did. And the tie does really well as a bat. So here is our baseball themed Father's Day card. It's a gatefold, opens like that. And then finally, this is another sort of flip and fold. So this one is a suit card, so it opens like this. Look at those awesome suspenders. Love that. And then it opens this way. Okay, so it's kind of like a gatefold, a really big, I don't know what you call it, but there you go. That's card number 6. So those projects are all included in the online class. You get all of the materials and pre-cut and scored and everything for you to make these 6 projects. You get the PDF with the supply list and all the measurements, as well as an exclusive tutorial video that shows you step by step how to make them. Okay, so all of that is included free with this class with the $60 order. Okay, so the information will post very shortly after this on my Facebook page here. So you will have the host code info. If you're having trouble putting your order in online and you want this class, just send me an email and I'm happy to put the order through for you. Okay, all right, everyone. Thank you so much. I hope you have an awesome, awesome week. I hope the weather warms up for us here in Southern Ontario. Actually, it's supposed to be 15 by Friday, so, you know, crazy April weather. But thank you so much for joining me this week, and I will see you next week for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. Bye for now.